Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with reference recording. And today we're talking about Wagner's Ring der Nibelungen. Now, none of you are going to be surprised at what the reference recording is, but that's really not the point. The interesting thing about this series and about this particular choice is how it got to be that way and why it is that way, as much as what it is. And it is this kahuna, the Solti Ring. This is the super duper uber ultra deluxe reissued, remastered CD version. It weighs about 500 pounds and it contains everything. Oh my goodness, everything in it. It's like got the, a guide and 4 luxurious hardcover books, and each copy is numbered. It's a limited edition, but that doesn't mean anything. Things become reference recordings because of having unlimited, limited editions. Let's put it that way. You know, Decca had all their bases covered with this production. They have it in this deluxe thing. They have it in the single box, sort of mid-budget priced box issue with no libretto or anything, but not that you need one. And also you can get it in the big Solti Wagner box. It's everywhere. They had excerpts. This thing birthed not just the opera itself, an entire book by John Culshaw, Ring Resounding, a hardcover book about the recording, the making of this production. And then there was also Derek Cook's analysis of the Ring. It was a total Gesamtkunst production it gave the work the importance that, it really deserved. Or if people don't like it, think it doesn't deserve it, but it gave the thing, it was a total, complete marketing and sales triumph for Decca in the late 50s and early 1960s. It was the first recording of the Ring, the first complete recording of the Ring issued by a major label. And it's very interesting to note that. We have to be clear. We have to be very clear. I mean, look, for example, at these classic Bayreuth performances. Here's Kempe, Rudolf Kempe and Clemens Krauss. These are like the ones that voice people and Wagner specialists claim are like the ultimate Ring performances. Probably the Clemens Krauss a little more than the Kempe, but both of them. I mean, these are mono broadcast Bayreuth things. But these didn't come out. They didn't come out until after this. Believe it or not. I mean, they're earlier performances. They're from the 50s by and large, but they didn't show up until later. And they didn't show up because this was the set that proved that there was a market for complete Ring performances on disc. And not just, for beyond the opera crazy ghetto. I mean, the opera crazy ghetto would also always listen to those recordings, and those Bayreuth recordings, those historical recordings, the Furtwängler recordings and all those things. I mean, they always circulated on crappy independent or pirate labels because the source material for this stuff, for all that people knew, sometimes they were radio broadcast tapes, but they were home people making recordings of broadcasts in their house, or people who sat in the audience with a tape recorder up their sleeve or something like that. So, I mean, the sound was lousy. The provenance was iffy. People went around digging for the actual tapes of these things and broadcast tapes, and these things only started happening after the Solti Ring came out. So it was also the first. We have to keep that in mind. That's also really important. And then you look at the competition. The competition finally was Karl Böhm and Karajan. Those were the two big competitions. Karl Böhm was live from Bayreuth, very good stereo sound. It's actually my personal favorite because it's just exciting as hell. And Karajan's reissue. I mean, what is this little Philip? I mean, it's nicely packaged, but it's just it's a little doodad. I mean, really, compared to this. I mean, right? I mean, which is the serious production here? That or just another Karajan thing, So you see the superiority of Decca's approach to promoting this recording, making it a historical landmark as well as an artistic one, because it's a great recording of the Ring. There's no question about that. I mean, it's not, people will quibble. I mean, and Wagnerians tend to be extremely pugnacious. I mean, they really do. They have like all kinds of neuroses and problems and psychoses about singer this or singer that. And I understand. I mean, you get to choose. You get to pick. You pick the ones that you think are the best. And I'm not saying that Solti is the strongest in every category or that he's the best conductor necessarily. I mean, Karajan's conducting is in many ways much more interesting from an aesthetic point of view, from a conception of the work. But none of that matters in the face of the overwhelming media presence of the Solti recording, its general excellence. I mean, you're not going to get better than Birgit Nielsen and Wolfgang Fingassen and Kirsten Flagstad and Gerhard Stolze. You know who these people are, right? They're as good as any. And let's be very, very, calm and relaxed and about it. You could enjoy all of these. So, you don't have to have this, dogmatic position on which one is the best based on minutiae or minutia. Or as I was talking about my previous video about, the Weather Channel, people making huge claims about trivial details, especially in something as huge as Wagner's Ring. So it was a combination of factors that made this the reference choice. There was the historical aspect. There was the artistic excellence. There was marketing and promotion ongoing over decades and decades and decades. What an amazingly consistent effort. It's really what major labels should be doing with all of their great recordings. Maybe they don't have the energy. It's not like it costs them more money particularly, but there has to be an effort. A great recording should be consistently available, consistently promoted, reissued where appropriate, so that it stays in the public eye. Well, Decca did it with this. They did it with this, not with virtually anything else in their catalog, but yes, they did it that way, and that was really a big, big deal. On the other hand, everything else that came out later, this obsession with historical recordings and doing it better, that's one of the other cool things, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it, something comes out, it's great, it's pushed by a major label, they do everything right, and we classical music people immediately get suspicious. We think there's some conspiracy to prevent us from hearing the really good one, and the really good one is the grotty sounding live, sort of mysterious thing that you may or may not find, or it's on some obscure pirate label, or it was recorded, in horrible circumstances because the universe is conspiring to keep you from your ultimate Wagner experience. I mean, that's a very sick point of view. It really is. I mean, I have no patience with conspiracy theorists and all that, but the classical music world is full of that garbage. It really is. Because this great effort, meticulously prepared, it was technically a marvel for its day, stunning in its sonics, its recording, the care and love that went into making the best sounding product that anybody could make, and it still sounds unbelievable even to this day. That's all something to be dismissed, while at the same time we are hypocritically insisting that major labels do not support their own product and don't know what it is and don't know its value and all that. God forbid, if they say it has value, we immediately say, no, wait, it's not as good as this thing or this thing. Well, that's really a very, very, like I said, it's hypocritical, and it's kind of like mentally suspect, psychologically suspect. But my point is, in the Solti Ring, you have a reference recording which defines what a reference recording is. It's the iconic poster child for how to correctly create a reference recording. You start with a great performance, you market the living daylights out of it, and you get lucky. You get there first. You get first past the vote. You keep it available and in the public eye for a sufficiently long period of time. So there's no question about it, and I doubt any of you will disagree. Well, maybe somebody will, but it doesn't matter because you'd be wrong. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me, and take care.